You guys sent in some great questions. Let's start with R. Castig. How are you staying healthy during this weird time, and what is the final plan for the barn? So, how am I staying healthy? I'm doing everything that everybody should be required to do right now. Social distancing, washing my hands a bunch, not touching my face, not touching my food with my hands. All those good things. Still working out once or twice a day. And then staying on top of, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, meat, all that good stuff. So keeping my diet plan going and trying to keep the same routine that I would normally do to stay healthy and fit. We have such a tremendous blessing here, and thank you to all of the grocery shop workers, everybody at Giant Eagle, Whole Foods, Kroger, wherever you go, for putting in the time to get stuff out on the shelves, dealing with people who are upset about not getting what they need, XYZ. Thank you guys for dealing with that. So I'm still able to go to the grocery store whenever I want, pick up whatever I need. So super spoiled being here in America and being blessed with that. Thank you to the workers there for putting in the time to make sure that we're still fed and can still get the healthy foods that we need. So next question comes from Stockbridge76 on Instagram. They just got a Rogue feed sack, which is kind of like a sandbag. Any suggestions on exercises? Great thing is, we just did a video on that. I actually just posted about that. You can do virtually any barbell or dumbbell exercise with a feed sack or a sandbag, and you can get various weights with those. So anywhere from, I believe it's down to like 40 to 60 pounds all the way up to 100 plus pounds you can get for a sandbag. So regular sandbags have actual handles that you can do a little more, probably squat cleans and manipulate the bag a little bit better. The feed sack is gonna just have the straps on the end, if I'm correct. So you can do swings with that, you can carry it, you can squat with it on your back in the front rack position. One other thing I think a lot of people ignore are like throws. So heading out into your yard and throwing them over your head as far as you can or as high as you can. Just make sure you're safe, there's nothing behind you, and you don't let the bag fall on your head. But typically any barbell movement that you would do in the gym, even when it comes down to bicep curls, bent over rows, bench press, anything like that, find a way to adapt and get it done with the feed sack. From Ryan _ I can't say your last name, but I'm doing my best here. All right, so what advice would you give someone who is just starting CrossFit but wants to compete? Start an affiliate. And find a good coach. That is what you need to do. You need to master the basics. Mess around with a PVC pipe and an empty barbell for your power clean and jerk, your squat snatch, all your technical movements. Make sure you have good mechanics. Make sure you practice it consistently before you add the intensity or volume that's required to compete, okay? So make sure all that's dialed in first. Find a good group of people that you can rely on to train with, to be coached by, and be humble. Listen to what other people are gonna say. Listen to critiques. Listen to advice from other people. So if you're just kind of getting in your foot in the door and you really want to compete, I would definitely say start there. It all revolves around mastering the basics and being very good at that before you move on to the competition level. Before your first competition, or when you do your first competition, try one that's online. Try an online competition first. The Open's a good example. Rogue Fitness has one for their invitational. We have an online qualifier where you have to submit videos, you have to figure out how to set up your camera, and you have to make sure that your movement's dialed in so you're not gonna get reps taken away from you. Hold yourself to a very high standard when it comes to those things. When you're actually going to go to a competition after that, focus on just going to a local competition. I can guarantee you can find one at a local gym that you're at and understand what that experience is like. Understand what it's like getting your sleep in, understand what it's like having to pack your food, and the day-to-day routine as you warm up for an event. And then there's a delay in event. So you just kind of understand how a competition day can go, and you can kind of figure out what hurdles are going to be in your way while you're doing it. But everything really does revolve around mastering the basics and then moving step by step from there at your local affiliate. Couple more questions coming in from the Instagram request. This isn't a question. Matt Hewitt, you're a butthead. Roger that, so are you. Ben Alderman, did you do the workout I sent you yet? No, but I will post when I do. Facundo, St. John or St. Paul? That's impossible to pick between those two. I'd probably say Paul. Tremblay, another one from Facundo, asked me to pick between Tremblay or Hobart. So between Paul Tremblay or James Hobart. Again, that's impossible. I would say Trey Bart is what I would pick. Froning or Malialo, again, impossible. Fralialo is what I'll say there. Recovery methods recommended. Normatec, really think it works. Flossing at the knees, so the band, any kind of band around the knee, working it through range of motion, your elbows, your joints. Love that, definitely have good experience with that. And then any of the guns, pick a gun, Theragun, Hyper Ice, whatever it is, to massage out muscles. Super, I get a lot of relief, especially on my surgery knee from that one, or those three. Motivation to train alone, Acts 20:24. I consider my life worth nothing to me if I only may finish the task set before me, the task of testifying to the gospel of God's grace. Whatever I do, I want to do to the glory of God and do it to the best of my ability. It doesn't matter if I'm alone. Being alone just means it's time to get mentally tough. Square footage of the barn and plans for the gym in it. So square footage in the gym actual area, it's about 30 by 30, 28 by 30 I think is the actual measurement. But then the full size of the barn is 60 by 30. Plans for the gym, right now, just get it functional. If you looked around in here right now, it's a freaking mess. I'm 33 years old, been only lifting for 1 year. Can I get very strong the older I get? Absolutely. I think strength does diminish with age, but at 33, you got plenty of miles ahead of you. Do I have any tattoos? No. Do I want one? Yes, if I found a good enough reason to get one. How to build an efficient cardio engine? What frequency, what modalities? I would say all monostructural modalities, the bike, the rower, the skier, running, jump rope, swimming. Those are all going to be your big cardio modalities, your big cardio builders. Obviously, you can still gain good cardio from lifting weights, doing things on the minute. I mean, CrossFit in general is going to get you a huge engine if you just do constantly varied functional movements done at a high intensity. But if you're looking to just dial in on those specific things, I would mention all the ones I mentioned before, or I would say all the ones I mentioned before. What frequency? Once every 2 to 3 days minimum. You're going to train for 30 minutes plus on one of those machines, and you can do that a whole bunch of different ways. Interval training, 30 minutes steady state, You can go a whole bunch of different ways there. Major supplemental training for you besides daily CrossFit. That's kind of a tough answer. Besides CrossFit, of the 10 general physical skills in CrossFit, flexibility is one of those, or range of motion. So flexibility would be the biggest thing I would say, or training your flexibility. So stretching, mobility, all those good things, so that you can hit the right positions, doing all the different movements. I would say that's the biggest thing that you can probably supplement your training with in order to do a little better in your Olympic lifts, muscle ups, whatever it might be. So increasing range of motion around the joint, increasing your flexibility would be a good one. It's still CrossFit though, technically. Ever go back to that campsite? I'm assuming that you mean Curry Village in tent A7. I have not been back. Do you have a sample programming for your complete plan prior to subscribing? Absolutely. Email info@alwaystrain requesting that, and we will get a sample sent over to you. Best way to build strength, got to give a shout out to the conjugate method and Westside Barbell. Of the different ways that I've used, or of the different techniques that I've used to get strong, their methodology has been the one that's gotten me the strongest, hands down. Tell us something your mom doesn't know about you. No. Have your fitness priorities changed with age? Yes. I spend most of my mornings, or any time that I'm group training, doing a CrossFit workout with extra accessory work, maybe some skill work, maybe some lifting kind of thrown in there. And then my afternoons normally would be another CrossFit workout or another kind of heavy Metcon, but now I find myself kind of doing more erg work, so skier, rower, bike, something that's a little more low impact or on the minute work for skill training. Do I track my nutrition? No, I don't do a strict tracking on it. I eat when I'm hungry, and I don't eat when I'm full, and I can make the majority of my plate meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, some fruit, a little starch, and very little to no sugar. So that's pretty much how I do it right now. I know you guys have been asking about getting actually what I eat in a day out. I need to measure that, and we'll get that video to you as soon as possible. Please post more singing videos. Will do. Are you partnering with First Form? Absolutely I am. I think that their motto is amazing and their overall goal is amazing, and that's just to help people in the most basic sense of the word. So I think that's awesome. That's a very easy thing to get behind, and they're an incredibly good group of people over there. Favorite book that I have read? I would recommend Black Box Thinking by Matthew, I can't remember his last name, but Black Box Thinking is a cool one. It's all about failure and what failure actually means, and how you can use that to change your future, to change or improve on anything that you're doing. So failure is not a bad thing. It's going to happen no matter what you do, and how you adjust to that failure, make corrections, and go about your life after that is really what matters. And he analyzes a whole bunch of different industries who do this very well. The airline industry is one of them. Dyson vacuums was another one. And then he analyzes some industries that don't do this very well. And it's just an interesting contrast of those two things. It was a great read.